that their membership had sort of curved up and then flatlined, and they were feeling frustrated because they didn't know how to break out of that plateau. And the more creators we talk to, the more we realize this is a common theme. A lot of creators feel like they hit a wall with their membership. How can I get more patrons? I'm kind of stumped. This year's been very flat overall. I need to come up with some sparks to rejuvenate it. What advice do you have for someone trying to attract more patrons? Please reply. What strategies have been shown to be best for ongoing Patreon growth? I've plateaued. After talking with literally hundreds of creators, we decided to spin up a team.
Hold on. What was the 74% of surveyed creators said their biggest challenge was getting new patrons, keeping existing patrons, keeping up with benefits I offer to patrons, thinking of new ways to engage with my patrons. Well, they're all kind of interrelated.
We decided to spin up a team of researchers and data scientists and product managers to help creators solve this problem. Recently, we did a study where we looked at creators who plateaued and then inflected their earnings. The team searched through thousands of creators, many of whom had hit this plateau shape. And then something happened. In that pool of thousands, they found 137 extraordinary creators who had managed to break out of that plateau, and their earnings curved up and they inflected by 40% or more in a 3-month period. Those 137 creators had figured out how to inflect their memberships. We sent out surveys, interviewed creators one-on-one, and consolidated all of the data and insights into a single report. This report. This is the Creator Inflection Study.
The Creator Inflection Study.
The Creator Inflection Study.
The rest of this video is going to be about some of the key insights from this study, my own personal experience as a creator growing my membership on Patreon, and some quick and dirty tips and tricks I've learned for how to implement some of these strategies and grow your membership. The first huge takeaway from the Creator Inflection Study, and probably the most impactful, is this. Of the creators who inflected their memberships, a significantly large portion of them had recently revamped their tiers and benefits. This stuff, the stuff you give your members in exchange for their membership. This makes a ton of sense to me because I remember when my band Pomplamoose decided to revamp our tiers and benefits at the beginning of last year because the old structure didn't really work with the new upload schedule that we were planning. Structure didn't and
Pomplamoose. Oh, he's the guy that does that. They do some good songs. They do some good stuff. Wow.
Benefits at the beginning of last year because the old structure didn't really work with the new upload schedule that we were planning for the rest of 2018. And in that relaunch process, our membership grew 50% in 1 month. Because we were essentially relaunching our page. It was this month-long initiative to reinvigorate the band and our audience with new music, a new upload schedule, new membership benefits. When we did quantitative surveys with the Inflection creators, we found that over 40% of them had done something like that. They had made changes to their tiers and benefits in the months prior to their inflection. Breaking Bourbon, for example, revamped their tiers and benefits on their 1-year Patreon anniversary, adding a $25 tier with a merch benefit and a 6-month thank you benefit. They also created a special offer allowing their patrons to choose the next barrel tasting, and their membership more than doubled in the month following the revamp. Gary and Riva did something similar. He added an exclusive content benefit at $5, lowered the price of the ability to vote on video topics to $3, and then got rid of the early access benefit because it was just too complicated for him to manage. Over the 6 months following the tier revamp, his membership grew 220%. These are all charts of creators from the Inflection Study who revamped their tiers and benefits. I think you get the picture. The takeaway is that revamping your tiers and benefits is the #1 correlated behavior with a creator inflecting their earnings on Patreon. But another key insight we learned from the Inflection Study is that changing your tiers can be scary. A lot of creators feel like they've made this permanent promise to their members with their tiers and benefit structure, and so they don't want to update them. But actually, we found that members are totally down for updates to tiers and benefits, because remember, your members are here for you. They want you to be successful. If there's a benefit that isn't working because it's too time-consuming or just not enjoyable, Tell your patrons. Personally, as a creator, I've found that patrons are super understanding and responsive if you're just honest about what's going on. For example, when Pomplamoose, my band, did our tiers and benefits revamp last year, we wrote this blog post outlining what we were thinking of doing and why. We also outlined our concerns and problems of doing and
what were they doing? $1 tier patron only posts. Okay. $5 tier weekly downloads and vote on song. Vote on the song. Okay. Merch tier. Design process. $50 tier name the credits. Do people care about that?
of doing and why. We also outlined our concerns and problems with the old tiers and benefit structure, and we asked our members for feedback on the new proposed structure. People were so understanding, and actually they were really grateful that we had included them in the process. The comments were almost 100% positive. And actually, other creators had a really similar communication flow with their patrons. Remember this guy, Gary and Riva? He made a patron-only post in January announcing the changes here, and then rolled out those changes in March here, giving his members a full 2 months heads up. So if you're interested in revamping your tiers, but you're feeling a little nervous about it, try telling your members ahead of time to give them a chance to give you some feedback and to give you a chance to gauge the changes and see how people respond. If you don't want to do a full revamp of your tiers, there's still a bunch of great tips and tricks that creators who are great at growing their memberships use on a regular basis. One of the big ones that we've seen creators use recently is something we call a special offer. Think of a special offer as a benefit that you only make available for a limited period of time, like a week or 30 days, which gives the offer a sense of urgency and excitement. It allows you to rally your fans around a timeline, and it also gives you a deadline to help you motivate yourself to promote it more, which I know I certainly need. Peter Hollins, an a cappella singer on Patreon, did a special offer recently, giving his fans a chance to get their name printed on his Christmas album. But you had to sign up by a certain date because he had to send the album art to the printers. Every new day leading up to the deadline, Peter was posting on Instagram with the number of days left, 9 days left, 8 days left, 7 days left. The traffic to his Patreon page skyrocketed 5x, and the conversion on his page grew 9x. People have tweaked the strategy in a number of ways, but there's always 2 key ingredients to a special offer. First, there's a deadline, and after the deadline, the benefit's no longer available. And second, there's heavy sequenced promotion leading up to that deadline to make sure your fans hear about it and know that you've got something cool in the works. It doesn't have to be on socials. It might be your email list or your podcast or wherever your fans interact with you on a regular basis. This is such a tried and true strategy that a ton of creators have used it beat for beat. Monica Byrne, a writer on Patreon, offered to print her members' names in her new book, and she used both a deadline and heavy promotion during the special offer period. Monica's membership grew over 20% that month. Natalie Dawn, my wife, offered to put her patrons' names on her record, and she even went so far as to count down the hours left until the deadline on the last day of the special offer. Amanda Palmer, a musician, did a special offer as a thank you to her patrons.
She has 14,000 patrons? The fuck? Jesus. Amanda Palmer is creating art? Who the fuck is Amanda Palmer? Let's check that out. Amanda Palmer. Gotta see. That's her. 111,000? What? We have almost the same amount of subs and she has 14,000 Patreons? What am I doing? I suck. 8 years ago she did that. The Killing Type. In my mind. What? What is this?
In my mind,
Oh my god.
in a future 5 years from now,
Oh.
I'm 120 pounds, and I never get hung over because I
That
it
shit.
does.
Let me see Pomplamoose.
And in my mind,
Let's see Pomplamoose. They do good stuff, man. They're talented. 632,000. Where are they from? Like San Francisco or somewhere? It's gotta be, no? They don't have a link to their Patreon? That's gay. Wait, these guys, he runs Patreon and doesn't have a link to his Patreon? Oh my god. That's not good, dude. Shallow, Lady Gaga, no. Monster, no. Who Cares? It's an original. Well, wait, an original got 41,000. The hell? I've had more views than that. Shotgun. Katy Perry. I'd Rather Dance With You. I don't know these songs. There's too many songs. Dancing on My Own. I like that song. Let's see it. Who's this girl that got smoking hot? Oh yeah, look at this guy doing bass face the whole time.
Somebody said you got a new friend. You got a new friend.
This is a total re-envisioning of this song. This is the Swedish pop star Robin. They're trying to. Wow, 1,700. It's insane.
Does she love you better than I can? Better than I can. Better. There's a big black sky over my town. Over my town, yeah. I know where you're at. I bet she's around. I bet she's around. I bet you. Yeah, I know it's stupid. Just gotta see it for myself. I'm in the corner watching you kiss her. Oh, I'm right over here.
God, he's got creepiest vibe ever in the background, doesn't he?
Can't you see me? Oh, I'm giving it my all.
Yeah, I don't think that layout is doing much for that song. Like, it's just not good. Let It Snow. Don't know this. Before Midnight. Sleigh Ride. They're doing Christmas stuff. My Heart Is For You. Another One Bites the Dust. White Flag. That's a pretty good song. Let's see what they do with it.
I know you think that I shouldn't still love you or tell you that. But if I didn't say it, well, I'd still have felt it. Where's the sense in that? I promise I'm not trying to make your life harder or return to where we were. I will go down with this shit. I won't put my hands up and surrender. There will be no white flag above my door. I'm in love and I always will be. I know I left too much mess and dis.
I mean, they're turning into like, I don't know, hipster funk. It's just, not feeling that. Anna destroys conservatives. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Oh, she responded to that guy.
We know conservative men
Wow.
are
The
upset.
fuck was she wearing that day? You see that? What the fuck is that? She's just raiding her grandmother's drapes. All right.
Yo, I'm in Phil Anselmo's house out here, New Orleans.
The girlfriend.
There's his dog. There's the fleur de lis. Monsters, all sorts of shit in here. Let's see what Phil's up to.
White dudes plays an alien doesn't mean that it's not three white dudes. The point I was making was that even though Star Trek, the classic series, is very justly celebrated for how diverse and inclusive its cast was, we have to also keep in mind that the three leading roles were taken by white dudes. That's the point I was making. The fact that one of the white dudes is playing an alien doesn't mean that the cast was not led and the show was not centered on three white dudes. If he had been playing not a Vulcan but a black person, and it was Leonard Nimoy in blackface, you don't count that as a black person on the show. By the way, a lot of that stuff.
A friend of mine, a friend of yours, a friend of ours, put it that way, a Mr. Phil Anselmo. He's been all hyped up about his tour. Man's going to Australia and New Zealand. He travels the world because, you know, we live in the post-Napster age and people like to see people do it live. And wherever he goes, he's drawing massive crowds. Here's him in Buenos Aires recently, just rocking out with these people. Check the reception he gets. And the thing is, you have to understand about Phil. He was hurt and down on his ass for a long while. And I'm talking about he was hurt, his knee, his back, his brain. Pretty sure he's just been taking damage. And he was going through many surgeries. He had chronic pain every day. Because the guy used to jump around and wreck shit and just chuck his body into stuff. And, you know, he was all about it. And he was totally on drugs and alcohol. And he didn't feel any of it until the dust cleared. And when the dust cleared, he was like, ow. And so what did he do? He hung out at home. He binged a few of my videos and he got fat. But that's the old Phil. New Phil, they rebuilt him. New and improved Phil, he's pain-free, relatively. He's in the best shape of his life. He's going back on tour. He's kicking ass. And so, you know, they knew who Phil was. Phil has already apologized for his now. We got a small handful of guys. We got like Dylan Roof, guy in Pittsburgh, and he was taken aback. And he looked at his wife and his wife looked at him and they thought, who is this autistic man asking us for apple juice? But they said, look, you want apple juice? We're going on an apple juice run. They do have apple juice in New Orleans. You have to go get it though. And when I was down there, we had a blast and we threw the football around. We talked. When I was down there, we had a blast and we threw the football around. We talked. We had heart-to-hearts. I took on some severe secondhand smoke. We dropped acid. I took some edibles. I'm not even sure what was in them. I lost track of many hours. I'm missing a kidney. But Phil is a good man. I'm here to attest to that. So all this is just virtue signaling. Let's read the article though. Let's just confirm that this is something that actually has happened. Philip Anselmo's New Zealand shows canceled over his past white power incident. The last place to be. We condemn the bad stuff in the... Okay? Jesus. Supremacist seen through the Burger King, enjoying boxing, Christchurch, livelihood. Phil Anselmo had inches. And the truth, nobody cares about the truth. A picture.
The fucking back.
You best believe
I've been reading.
this guy will never forget that moment. You call him a racist? The entire Saint defense is black. He kind of gimps out of the chair. And I know you're sick of that, just taking ear damage right next to the S. After hanging out by that speaker, he can't. But now, he's had a violent. But now, he's had time to mature and reflect, and his style has changed. He's toned it way down. His stuff now is basically like folk pop. It's calm, it's rhythmic, it's family friendly. Listen.
The lab bots the job. Alchemy's return of a sorcerer. An odium transition's not always odious. Overcome is critical. This treacherous work all encompassing.
It's good to see Slash though still have a job. That's nice.
Casualty. Silver Age.
Let's say my... You know, in my head, I'm singing hooks like that. I'm just going,
Delinquent Delinquent, delinquent.
And my girlfriend's like, oh, don't even start with that, Devin, because now it's going to be in my head. And she starts going,
Delinquent, delinquent.
it's a fucking anthem.
Apparently minor activities. Massage parlor tricks used for you. Pull away sets of cardboard. Painted wax foreground cutters. This is how the hell to do it. Spinning in a circle. Silver and season. It both syllables all.
Look at Phil go. I'd love to see Google take a hack at those lyrics, try to translate that on the fly. He's like tapping into the underworld. Okay?
Devin, check this out.
And this is nothing. Like, you got to see his movie collection. The guy's got some fucking snuff films you will not believe. Underground. Okay? And he will ask you straight up if you've ever heard of the most obscure thing ever. Coming from just some dark corner of the world. Like, there's not a chance in hell you've heard of what he's talking about. But he gives you the weird respect to be like,
Devin, listen, check this. We gotta slip in a movie right now. It's a little flick from a student filmmaker in southern Cambodia. Guy goes by the name Mick Bang. I think it's Mick Bong. It's either Mick Bang or Mick Bong. Dude produces futuristic sci-fi snuff with like an Asian twist. So listen up. Devin, here's what we're gonna do. You eat this brownie right here. You sit back, you put your feet up, and we're watching this. Eat this brownie right here. Kate just made it. Trust me. You're in good hands. Oh yeah, you're gonna feel real nice. And watch the brilliance of Mick Bong.
And yeah, this is a waste of fucking time.
reminds me of that scene from Ghostbusters where, was it Sigourney Weaver? She was talking about I am Zool.
I am Zool.
Is that it? My memory probably doesn't serve.
Come on, I want to talk to Dana. Dana, just relax. Come on. Dana. Can I talk to Dana?
Oh my god, take a look at that fucking nest sitting on that guy's head. What the fuck? How does he see? What the fuck is that? Okay, so the bottom line is Phil Dindu, alright? Now, the man is an inspiration. He is a beloved friend of mine.
I don't regret a thing, and I got this friend, you see, makes me feel, and I wanted more than I could steal.
So, show the man some love in the comments. I'm gonna force him to read the comments. So, give him your little story about, Phil, I saw you in 98. I think we made eye contact. I was in the 25th row. Let him know. Phil, we got your back. All my love to Kate and the pigs and the dogs. And the llama. And the chimp. No racist. I wish you all a good night, and I'll leave you with a mashup that any Pantera fan would hate that I made, because I just went in and got some acapellas of Phil and set it to Weezer, because fuck it. Anyway, hope you're doing well in Australia, Phil. Say hello to Bondi Beach for me, and we shall talk soon.
Walk on home, boy. Dirty shoes. Don't wrestle with this. Atheism is indeed unstoppable. Their fears are sleeping. Wash away your virtue signal.
Thank thank you to her patrons, giving them a chance to get an art card in the mail. She announced publicly that only her members were going to get these art cards mailed to them and that they wouldn't be available to buy anywhere else. New pledges to her membership that month grew 337% compared to the average of new pledges over the previous 6 months. Plus, her patrons got an awesome art card sent to them in the mail, and it was just an amazing thing to do with her members. The special offers strategy is so effective that Patreon's development team recently built a special offers product. When we ran our first beta test with creators,